Alrighty, I think we are good. Kelly, if things are looking off, please let me know. Alrighty. Well, welcome to today's educational workshop. My name is Ruby Yasha. I will be talking about concepts of self-care and how these different dimensions of wellness can help connect your mind, body, and spirit, and how taking care of all of these things can keep you healthy. I'm one of the interns here at Gildas Club Quad Cities. I'm a student at St. Ambrose. I'm studying social work and psychology. And from all of my classes, I have developed a huge interest in mental health and just improving people's wellness and health and making sure that and just helping teach people how to live more healthy lifestyles and just getting the most out of life. So that's why I chose talking about self-care for today's workshop. It's just very important to me and can really help in life, making people feel better. Today we're going to be talking about mental health and well-being. What is mental health? Why is it important to focus on? We're going to talk about what is self-care, how that can benefit your life, the different dimensions of wellness, and putting the activities we discuss into practice and how you can make your own self-care plan of action. So what is mental health? Mental health is a state of well-being in which the individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. So mental health is impacted greatly by your wellness, and wellness is defined by the National Wellness Institute as the active process through which people become aware of and make choices toward a more successful existence. So taking care of your wellness can improve your mental health and vice versa. And doing so will help you lead a more positive and more successful lifestyle. Wellness is a conscious and self-directed process of helping you achieve your full potential. And it's not just one aspect. Wellness is a lot of different things. So most people think, oh, wellness, that's just like, taking care of your body, going to the doctor, but it's a lot more than that. It is a multidimensional and holistic encompassing lifestyle that can be in so many different aspects of life. So why are these things important? Why am I taking the time to talk to you about self-care today, about these topics today? Well, I care a lot about I wanted to talk to you about these today because healthcare providers in general and in the past have largely focused on patients' physical symptoms and physical health status. And it's only been recently in the last few decades that more emphasis has been placed on mental health issues. So I wanted to continue that trend and bring to light the importance of having a balance in caring for your physical health, mental, social, and all the different aspects of health. Focusing on these can help improve your lifestyle. It helps with improve recovery from illnesses, which is really helpful for our members here at Gildas Club. For people impacted by cancer and of course individuals without a history of cancer as well, physical health directly influences your mental health status and overall quality of life. You're being aware of how your physical health can impact how you're feeling in general in life, and making sure to focus on all of those will just improve wellness overall. And in addition, it can improve your productivity, improve your job quality, and possibly getting more promotions at work. And focusing on your mental health can increase your joy in relationships and improve your social cohesion. And what I mean by that is taking the time to focus on self-care can make interacting out in your community so much easier and more fulfilling when you feel fulfilled with yourself, and that will empower you to give more to the community and just be a part of the world around you and just get more out of your journey. So what does mental health look like? It looks like personal development, achieving your goals and accomplishing the things that are important to you. It looks like staying aware of your emotions and regulating them. When you're getting too stressed out or overwhelmed, taking a break and knowing when to relax and say no. It looks like positive relationships, taking the time to talk things out with people when there's a problem, not just sweeping issues under the rug. It looks like, just like I said, that positive communication and making sure that the people around you who you spend the most time with know where your mental health status is, so that they are more understanding of where you're at, making it easier for you to feel comfortable communicating about your needs. And then, of course, problem solving. It's a lot easier to solve problems when your mental health is in a good spot. So I wanted to ask, this is a little bit of a rhetorical question, but just at home, think to yourself, what do you think self-care looks like? Common answers that people say is like taking a bath, maybe getting a massage. Self-care could be lighting candles and taking the time to read a book. Just really anything that's relaxing and makes you feel at peace. Well, these are all really great. It's a lot more than just taking a bath. Self-care has the power to improve one's wellness through a shift in perspective. It's not just doing the actions of taking care of yourself and feeling better. It refers to the activities undertaken with the intention of enhancing energy, restoring health, and reducing stress. So it's the intentional part that really makes self-care impactful for one, because it's not a reactive thing to do. It's proactive. You want to make sure that you're taking the activities for self-care and applying them in life before the stressful events happen to prevent those stressful things from happening. Because when you're taking care of your mental health and your physical and all that, it's going to make coping with those hard life stresses with a lot more ease. So again, those benefits is a greater capacity to manage your stress, increased resilience, and it reduces your symptoms of mental health problems. I want to talk about what self-care is not. It's not about acting selfishly. Just because you take time to focus on yourself and do the things you need to reduce stress doesn't mean neglecting people that need you. I think we've all heard the phrase, like when you're on an airplane and the mask comes down, to put your mask on before anyone else's. So it's the same thing with self-care. If you're a caregiver or you have a family that you need to be there for, it's really important to make sure that you're taking care of your needs first so that you can better attend to them with more success. Self-care is also not about adding more work or more tasks to an already overwhelming to-do list. We're so busy already, so adding a whole list of things that you need to do for self-care is not the goal. It's meant to be relaxing and something to look forward to in your day that helps you feel better. I found this really handy dandy ABCs of self-care that helps explain the concepts a bit more simply. So A stands for awareness, becoming aware of your self-care needs and your stressors and what you should do to relieve them. So self-care begins in taking the time to pause and really consider what it is your body and mind need in order to be healthy. By taking time to be quiet and take a step away from your busy lives and enter a space of reflection, it's easier to develop an awareness of your own needs and then make a plan for addressing them. So for example, last week I was having a really bad mental health time just feeling really down and like depressed because of winter. And it didn't help that I was sick and stuck at home by myself. And I didn't stop to think about the most effective way of treating these symptoms. I was aware that I was feeling badly, but I didn't take the time to acknowledge what I should do to relieve that. So I just stayed in bed and watched TV and thought that was, I'm relaxed. It makes me feel better. But it made me feel good in the moment, but it didn't address really that, hey, I'm having these mental health issues. I should be focusing on connecting with people who care about me and feeling like uplifted and being reminded that, oh, hey, there are things in life to like look forward to. I'm not just going to be stuck in bed for the whole rest of my life. So being aware of how what you're doing for your stress, like, is it really effective, or is it just kind of like sweeping your problems under the rug and just making you feel good right now? Yeah, so becoming just more aware of what you can do for your stress. One way of doing this is assessing your needs. Like, I would recommend making a list of the different parts of your life and like the major activities that you engage in each day. So, for example, work, school, relationships, and family are some things that you might list. So, the things that take up the most of your attention and energy in life. And then consider your stressors. Think about the aspects of these areas that cause stress for you and consider some ways that you might address that stress. Then B in the ABCs of self-care is balance, maintaining balance in the different aspects. So I've been talking a lot mentioning about the different aspects of self-care, and what that refers to is self-care is a balancing act. It's important to balance your action and your mindfulness, so the things that you're doing, but also doing those things intentionally. Maintaining balance with your self-care helps guides your decisions about embracing or giving up certain activities, behaviors, or attitudes. The balance helps informs how you give attention to the different aspects of your life. So basically, how much time we spend working, playing, or resting. Think of it as like a healthy prescription for balanced daily living. You want to get 8 hours of work, 8 hours of play, and 8 hours of rest. But realistically, who does that? No one. Life is crazy. There's so many things to do. It's impossible to have that perfect balance. So the goal is to make sure that when you're doing too much in one area, make sure you take a time to step back and focus on, oh, hey, I need to take some me time to focus on just me and caring for what is important to maintain my emotional and mental health. A way of doing this is the 5 dimensions of wellness. I've been alluding to this throughout the presentation. Dr. Bill Hetler, who is the co-founder of the National Wellness Institute, created this back in 1976. It's a very great way of figuring out how you can achieve different self-care activities in the most effective way. The model was created to teach about the interconnectedness of each of the dimensions of self-care and how these different factors can add up to create a holistic sense of wellness and fulfillment. So there's actually 2 more dimensions, occupational and environmental. I didn't include them in the presentation for time's sake, but these 5, I would say, are the most important. So I'm just going to go on to starting with the first dimension of self-care, which is intellectual. Intellectual self-care is about finding the balance between stimulating your mind and giving your mind a break. It's taking care of your sense of understanding, learning, and curiosity. Intellectual self-care is for really addressing your inner thinker and helps you cultivate a healthy intellect. When I was sick at home last week, I did not focus on intellectual self-care at all. I was just in bed and just doing nothing and just felt like a sloth. And in turn, that made me feel even more lazy and bad if I had stopped to consider, oh, hey, what aspect of self care am I not focusing on right now? Intellectual, that might have helped me get up and get energized to go achieve some things. And then that starts a positive reinforcing cycle of accomplishing things that make me feel good. The intellectual wellness dimension helps our challenge our minds with intellectual and creative pursuits. So helping you stay productive and motivated to achieve things that are inspiring. And it can help you be more consider like better. Anyway, some of the examples of intellectual self-care, I made a list of things that you can do are playing games. So playing games you can do with other people, and it's a way of achieving social self-care and getting around other people and helping you feel supported, and also working your brain muscles. You can play memory card games. Practicing crossword puzzles is a way of inspiring intellectual self-care. You could do jigsaw puzzles. Playing chess is another way. Learning a new skill. Now, this is a little vague, but I included that because there's so many things you can do. Everyone, well, when I was a kid, I used to say, oh, I want to learn Spanish or someday learn how to complete a Rubik's Cube or things like that. This is the time to do that. You can set aside time out of your schedule, maybe for just like 5 minutes a day to focus on a new skill that you maybe haven't tried before, like crocheting, learning a language. Gosh, I had a whole bunch of examples. I'm just not can't think of any right now, but just think about things that you've always thought about doing and maybe schedule some time to do those. Reading a newspaper is a good way if you like to stay up to date about current events. Listening to a podcast or a radio show. You could go to the library and check out some books or just browse books. I really enjoy looking at just the covers and reading the backs of them and making a list of the books I'd like to read someday, though do I ever? Debatable. Taking a screen Sabbath, what this is taking a break from your technology, from TV, your phone, your computer, if you can at least, is taking like an hour away from checking your phone. If you're always stuck with your nose in the phone and catch yourself like scrolling Facebook mindlessly for a long time, this can be a very good way of resetting your mind and relaxing and just giving your brain time to just breathe and reset. This is an example of a way of doing a screen Sabbath. I have an app on my phone that tracks my screen time, and it helps me keep in perspective, oh, hey, this is how much time I'm spending on my phone, and I would rather it be under like 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever. This isn't mine. It's mine probably more like 4 hours a day, but it's a really good way of tracking how much time you're spending on your phone if that's a goal of yours. Adding helpful apps to your phone, that's kind of what I was saying before, but also things like helping track daily habits or goals that you want to implement in life. I'll go more into detail about this later on. Taking a class or workshop. We are here right now. This is an educational workshop and a fantastic way of improving your intellectual wellness. We also have at Gilda's Club a bunch of other classes and workshops this month if you want to check them out. We've got some food workshops, a couple of their educational workshops. I believe we had an open options one, though if you want to go out into the community and find other other activities, the library often has classes on, say, like sewing or like crocheting, things like that. You could join a book club. I know Gilda's Club actually, oh, this is exciting. Next month, we're having our first book club since I've been here. We're going to be reading a book on that centers around Black History Month. So if you're interested in that, you could sign up for that. Taking a leadership role is a little more unique. I hadn't thought of it as a form of self-care for the mind, but it makes sense because taking on a leadership role can include changing up your routine, reading and learning something new to prepare yourself for that. An example could be taking on a new role at church or becoming more involved at your children's school. So just all of these different activities you do in becoming taking on a leadership role or volunteering in an organization combines a whole bunch of different self-care practices that can really help improve your mental health and well-being. And then listening to music. It's so simple, but so relaxing and can help develop like your mind with analyzing music and lyrics and really feeling like the words and transporting you to another world that helps relax you and just a distraction from the stresses of life. And then removing disruptive notifications from your phone. If your phone goes ding every other minute, it can get a little exhausting and taxing on the brain, always like being drawn to that. So muting your phone for every few hours or for a few hours, or perhaps turning off notifications for apps that don't bring you as much joy and happiness is a great way of helping cultivate that intellectual self-care. Spiritual self-care is about the development and deep appreciation for the meaning and purpose of human life. Spiritual self-care is it's about taking actions that deepen our connection with what we find meaning in life, with who we truly are. It's the part of ourselves that is like the true meaning of what we do in life. It's driven by our deep desires and what matters to the most at our core. Even if you don't particularly ascribe to any particular spiritual faith, you can practice spiritual self-care by connecting to anything that helps you feel more connected to the human experience. Spiritual practices such as mindfulness can help you grow in self-awareness, stay in the present moment, and grow in emotional regulation and self-control. Some examples of spiritual self-care are that you can do a 10-minute meditation. You could say a quick prayer if you pray, doing a daily devotional for a few minutes. You could read a sacred text. It's kind of hard to sit in nature right now with the cold and the winter, but sometimes just going out, standing by a window and enjoying the scenery and just looking out over the snow and appreciating the beauty of nature can really help center oneself with the earth and just appreciating our existence here. And that's related to mindfulness, practicing mindfulness, which is, it's a really cool meditation technique where you focus on emptying your mind of all your worries and things that are stressing you out and just focusing on breathing. We have a yoga class here at Gilda's Club, and I believe they practice some breathing techniques during that if you want to check it out. And there's also apps on your phone you can download that can guide you through mindfulness exercises or those meditations if you want to experience that. Another example of spiritual self-care is listening to mantra meditation. I just learned about this recently and we'll be having an educational workshop on what this is next month here at Gilda's Club. And then taking a yoga class. That's a very great way of slowing down and just being zen with yourself and just relaxing and taking a moment to appreciate just existing and taking a break from the stressors. You can attend a religious ceremony. Forest bathing is something, again, you probably want to do in the summertime when it's less cold, but just getting out in nature and immersing yourself in the beauty of it and just appreciating the details that surround you. And then making a list of what you're grateful for, practicing gratitude. I try to do this every day, I don't really achieve it, but I created this 3 things journal where each day I write down 3 things that I was thankful for that happened or that I saw, and that can help train your brain into paying attention to the good things each day and really appreciating the good. All right. The next dimension is physical self-care. You need to take care of your body if you want it to run efficiently, keeping in mind that there is a strong connection between your body and your mind. When you're caring for your body, you're going to think and feel better too. And physical self-care covers more than just exercising. While it is activities that you do to improve the well-being of your physical health, there's a lot more you can do than just exercise, which we already know about. If you're a caregiver for someone for someone impacted by cancer, this area of self-care can easily be overshadowed by concern for a loved one's diagnosis and their own healthcare journey. So it's really important, especially for caregivers, to stay attentive to each of these areas of self-care because they work together in a balance. Some examples of physical self-care that you could do is making sure you schedule routine medical appointments, taking the time to call and make sure you're getting in on a regular basis. And if you miss an appointment, make sure you reschedule. If you're having symptoms and can't make it, make sure you reschedule for after you're better. Making sure to advocate for your health in the doctor's office. If you're having issues with a medication or just like a side effect that you're having, don't just suck it up and stay quiet. Try to make sure you bring it up with your doctor and find out if there's other options for you. Being an advocate for yourself in the doctor's office is so important and a fantastic way of taking control of your healthcare journey. And it's something we talk about very regularly in support groups here at Gilda's Club. And I can't emphasize enough how much it impacts our members' lives, being able to take control of that and do what they need to help feel better. Engaging in healthy sexual activity. So as we all know, healthy sexual activity can help improve your health, especially in women. It improves cardiovascular health and can reduce risks of disease. There's a lot to be said about how to maintain a fulfilling sexual lifestyle. And if it's ever a concern for you, we would love to invite you to join Gilda's Club for an upcoming educational seminar on intimacy and sex, if that sounds like something you'd be interested in. Eating more healthy foods. We all know we need to be eating healthier, and it can be a lot of work. But there's some easier ways of doing that. One way I like to is buying healthy snacks in bulk and then separating them into little containers in the fridge. Kind of like this, not as beautiful, but it makes eating healthy a bit more fun and colorful, and it's a lot easier to just grab and go instead of having to spend 10 minutes putting something together each time you're hungry. So like going shopping, getting it all prepped and ready to go in the future. Then another great way of adding a healthy aspect or eating healthier is just adding more vegetables to your dinner. You can go into the frozen food section in the grocery stores and just get steamed veggies and pop those in the microwave and have a side of veggies for your dinner in less than 2 minutes. And it's a super easy way of getting in those extra vitamins and nutrients. Another way is adopting a healthy sleep schedule. So developing a regular sleep routine is super crucial for your health. Experts recommend about 7 to 8 hours per night for adults, but everyone's different. Getting a full night of sleep can help heal damaged cells. It can boost your immune system. It helps your body recover from the day's activities and help it feel more rested and ready and alive for the next day. Getting up at the same time every day is helpful for sleep schedule and going to sleep at the same time. We all know that turning off electronics about an hour before bed is helpful because it gives your mind time to quiet down and gives us a break from that bright blue light that tricks your brain into staying awake. And another tip for a sleep schedule is if you have trouble falling asleep, don't just toss and turn. If you can't fall asleep after 20 minutes, get up, you can get out of bed and do a quiet activity and then try again. And that's shown to help people fall asleep faster. You can replace soda with water. It's just an easy way of getting more water into your body, which is a lot healthier. Maybe not all the time, but maybe at least once a day. Switch that out for water instead of soda. Stretching in the morning for just 10 minutes. If you don't know how to do what stretches to do, you can easily look up some morning stretch examples and just follow a little guide. I just do about a 10-second stretch in the morning, or 10 seconds for maybe like 5 different stretches. It doesn't take very long and it really makes a big difference. And if you want to check out different ways of exercising, you can also find different apps on your phone that send you through. They have there are apps that you can find on your phone that give instructions for exercise, and you can adjust it to your comfort level and like intensity, and it tells you what to do for how many seconds, and you don't need any equipment or anything. And it's a very easy and fun way of getting that extra movement in. Another way of getting exercise is yoga. We talked about this for spiritual, but I wanted to give a quick plug. If you wanted to come in, we have yoga for cancer classes on Mondays at 7, and we have chair yoga on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. And another way you can get active with Gilda's Club is through Drums Alive, which combines rhythmic like movements with like your brain, and like it's a really great way of combining like that intellectual and physical self-care. And we're holding Drums Alive next week on Monday at 1:30 p.m. Another way of physical self-care is splurging on a massage. Everyone loves massages, and if you can spare it, getting a massage is a great way of doing that. Cuddling with a furry friend, and just taking a walk during your lunch break, incorporating times of movement into your day just whenever you can, such as parking further from the building so you get more time to walk to and from your car, and just moving around during the moments that you have them. Emotional self-care is bringing awareness to your emotions and taking the steps necessary to honor and care for them. In simpler terms, it's caring for your emotional needs by identifying what it is you're feeling and then moving forward in a way that honors yourself and those emotions. When our emotional self-care needs aren't being addressed, we tend to feel frustrated and burned out, and that's when we start feeling at the end of the rope. And it can be something very difficult to deal with. So emotional wellness is one of the most important ones to focus on, because it helps you stay more aware of and accepting your feelings, and then helps making your approach to life be more optimistic. The emotional dimension recognizes the acceptance of one's feelings and can help increase enthusiasm about oneself and life. Some examples of that are just being gentle to yourself, being gentle on yourself and others around you. Whether you're a support person trying to care for someone with a diagnosis, or experiencing health concerns yourself, or grieving the loss of a loved one, trying to remember to be sensitive to your emotions and remind those around you of that too. Listening to your favorite music can help. Learning to say no if you're feeling overwhelmed and exhausted by all the different things you have to do. It's okay to say no every once in a while. It's not selfish, and it's important for maintaining your mental health so that you can keep doing what you need to for those you care about. Speaking to yourself kindly, treating yourself like you're your own friend. Sometimes it's easy to forget that, and we get in our heads and can sometimes be quite negative to ourselves, but it's really good to like think of yourself as your own friend. And when you have that internal dialogue, to just be kind to yourself, be encouraging and respectful, and acknowledge when you do good things, and give yourself a little congrats. Schedule time for your favorite activity, doing the things that you like. You can talk to a friend, talking out your emotions, and uh, talking about the things that are good in life, and just reflecting on those and sharing that with someone you love. And again, practicing mindfulness will help maintain emotional regulation a lot better. Asking for support before you need it. So when you know that you're going through a rough patch, it's very helpful to tell the people around you that, hey, I'm going through this. Take it easy on me today. I might need some extra help. And that'll help others be more understanding and aware before know to be more sensitive to you that day. Consciously choosing how to respond. What I mean by this is when you're having a reaction to something and it's hard and you're going through something difficult, choosing the best, most effective way of responding is helpful in is helpful for making sure you're in. While we cannot choose what happens to us, we do get to choose how we respond to those situations. So whether you're dealing with like a COVID stress or car problems, we have the choice to take a deep breath, respond with kindness to yourself, and find a way to get through it peacefully without getting stressed out. Like giving this presentation, I'm getting stressed, but it's okay. If I just take a moment and breathe, I'm choosing to respond in a healthy way and not get stressed out. And applying that all throughout life can help a lot with your emotional self care. Not checking the news for the day. This is kind of opposite with reading the news from the intellectual one, but if current events stress you out, which I mean, pandemic is pretty stressful and reading about it is stressful, take a break. Take a break from Facebook. Don't read anything. Don't turn on the TV, and just enjoy the day in peace. Writing 3 good things about your day. This is kind of similar to the 3 things journal I was talking about, in practicing gratitude. You can talk about your self-care plan with a friend, discussing the ways that you're taking care of yourself and how they fulfill different dimensions of self-care, and maybe suggest to a friend that they check it out and discuss maybe how both of you could do things together. Taking time to acknowledge and address your feelings. This is about an easy way of doing this is just journaling when you're stressed out about things. You can take 5 minutes to write out your stressors, and just getting it out onto paper is a great way of just getting it out of your head and giving you relief from what's been bogging down your mind. And then watching a funny movie or episode. Everyone loves to laugh. So taking time to relax and just take time to laugh and be silly is a great way of relaxing and feeling those positive emotions. The final dimension of self-care I want to talk to you guys about is nurturing supportive relationships. Is social self-care, which is nurturing supportive relationships in order to improve well-being. Maintaining social relationships, that could be your relationships with your family, but also people beyond that circle. Socialization and having close relationships, having close connections with others is undoubtedly important to our well-being. It's these relationships with other people that will help us feel listened to and supported, and help us create great memories with them. It's really hard right now during that pandemic to maintain our friendships as a part of social self-care, with the whole distance and the health scares. And it's important to prioritize the safety of ourselves and others. But there are ways around these things without significant risk, which is virtually. Where right now we're doing this educational workshop online, and it's not as great as in person, but at least we're getting some aspect of that. Some of the examples of social self-care is planning a date night with your friend. You could come over to someone's house and just have a little movie night or make dinner together. Respecting your boundaries, not being afraid to say no to an invitation. If you're not excited to do something, then don't do it. Again, it's okay to focus on yourself and to enforce your own personal boundaries if it helps you ensure that you have time that you need for your self-care and getting the tasks done that you need to. Holding a weekly phone call. You can call someone up and just reconnect. I like to schedule time out of my Sundays to call up 2 long-distance friends and just talk about our weeks and what's new. Being proactive about making plans with other people will show that you care about your relationships and that you're prioritizing them within the rest of your life. It's important that you're mindful of who you reach out to too, putting time into relationships that recharge you, add value to your life, and leave you feeling fulfilled. If you call someone and every time you're done, you feel exhausted and burnt out, maybe it's time to take a step back from that and evaluate how you can adjust that relationship to be more helpful for your emotional health. Getting creative with a friend. There's so many different ways that you can feel recharged and content through your social relationships. You can get creative with how you spend your time with the people you're close to, such as incorporating hobbies into your social interactions, like playing chess with people, going to a movie together, or going out to a new restaurant, experiencing a class. There's so many different ways you can get involved and incorporate socialization into those activities. And then finding a volunteering opportunity. You can help give back to your community and feel fulfilled and a sense of pride in giving back by getting involved and being selfless with your time. This brings us to our last part of the ABCs of self-care, which is commitment. How are you going to sustain a self-care plan? What are you going to do to make sure that you're hitting these different dimensions and keeping attention on the different aspects of your self-care? So one way you can do this is adding it to your calendar. Schedule time out of your day, like at 8 a.m. in the morning, I'm going to have a glass of water. There's physical self-care. And then just go through and find convenient times throughout your day that you could incorporate just like a 5-minute thing to help take care of yourself. Confiding in those close to you, communicating with the people you live with or those who you talk to the most that, hey, this is what I'm doing, help. You can get an accountability buddy to check in with you to make sure you're staying on top of your self-care. You can include your family in these activities if they want to come with you to go like to the Y for exercise or volunteering together at some place. Writing a list of attainable goals. So making a list of goals, the things you want to achieve, that's not specifically like your self-care, but just like things that you want to do in life. For example, if you have a goal of walking a marathon or something at some point, and making a list of like that, like bucket list items that you have to look forward to and can make plans around. And looking at it daily. Have something right next to your bed or on the fridge or remind you in your phone being like, hey, these are your goals and things you want to look forward to keep you on track and going towards those things. Reassessing your progress every week, every month, and seeing have you achieved the things you want to? What do you need to do to get there? And then preparing in advance for barriers. What might get in the way of doing that? What can you do to remove these barriers? If you are not sure about like how you're going to achieve your goals, take the time to stop and think about what's stopping you from them. How can you break those down to achieve what you want to get done? A really cool way, oh, I love this. So if you haven't heard of SMART goals, this is the most genius way I have ever found of goal planning and like habit tracking. It's you write down your goals and specify specifically what it is. You write down how is it going to be measured, like how do you track the progress and measure the outcome of your goal. You rationalize, is your goal actually attainable? Is it reasonable enough to be accomplished? How are you going to do it? Is it worthwhile to do? Is the goal actually, it should be something that makes you happy and brings fulfillment and joy to your life. And then setting a time goal for when you're going to accomplish that. Setting a limit on, by the end of this week, I will have done this. By the end of the month, I will have done this. Or breaking it down into even littler chunks. I'm going to drink water every 3 hours. And then by the end of the week, you'll be able to see that, hey, I've drank this many glasses of water and achieved my goal of however much. You can find these charts and like ways of breaking down your goals online if you want some like help in filling them out and getting some ideas. I just do this because it helps me stay more productive and feels more fulfilled when I think that I'm much getting closer to things that bring my life meaning and purpose. I talked about this before, adding helpful apps to your phone. You can find habit tracking apps if you enjoy using your phone for that, that keeps track of how often you've done something, how close you are to your goals, or you can just do it on paper and do little X's and like write on your calendar, like check a box if you accomplished something or not, and keep track of what you were doing each day that enabled you to achieve each little goal or habit that you want to implement. So in conclusion, the ABCs of self-care are awareness and identifying your stressors and what self-care activities would work for you, maintaining a balance and including activities from all the different dimensions of wellness, and being committed, consistently executing your self-care plan. Even if you mess up one day and you don't do anything, that's okay. Just try again the next. Thank you so much for your patience throughout this presentation. I'm so glad to have gotten to share some of what I've learned about self-care over the last few years of my education, and I hope you guys got something out of it. If you want, I didn't mention it during the slideshow, but if you want to check out an assessment of how you do with self-care, it's in the link. There's a link to an assessment in the chat on the Zoom and also on Facebook Live if you want to check that out. That's what actually really kicked me to, not kicked, but like what pushed me to do this. I completed that assessment and learned a lot from it, and it inspired me to want to share what else I've learned about self-care with the rest of you. So I hope you got something out of this, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and good luck.